But to be truthful, though, they shouldn't give him that 5-mile cushion, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought you were going to say something else. There will be Montoya fans or whoever that would say, "Oh, seriously?"
Are there Montoya fans?
Your mother?
Sort of, yeah, sort of, I guess.
No, anyway, there will be the people that say, "Oh, come on, 8/100ths of a mile per hour, whatever." But my response to that, as it would be with any sport, is, well, there's got to be that line. There's got to be the cutoff, and they're giving them. And even Kyle said this. They're still, that was the .08 and .11.
Yeah.
But that's with the 5 miles per hour over.
It was 5.08.
So he was
5.11.
Significantly.
That's what
over.
actually the quote I read from somebody from NASCAR was, that said really he was already going more than he should have been, but we gave them that cushion. And the fact that he just kept creeping up farther and farther, it was like, okay, we got to stop him before next time he goes through pit road, he's going to go 65.
Which makes me say two things about that. Because this is the crucial part in the race. So, I mean, it's good that, But two things I'll say about that is, one, there's no 100% guarantee that the electronic system they used wasn't glitched a tiny bit. That's number one, because it's...
Any kind of technology on his car or on their end.
I was just going to say, but number two... It seems like they have hardcore evidence, so there's no indication either. He's set on that, but I'm surprised. I'm sure somebody in his camp had to have said to him, maybe it wasn't exactly accurate. We'll never probably know.
This team, the driver and the crew, will come make their peace with this race sometime in the next week, I'm sure, before the next race.
He's probably still sore today. It'll take a few days.
Oh, yeah, it will. He'll probably hold it longer than the crew will.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they'll come, 5 years, people will ask him about this, he'll go, we probably were, but, because it'll be okay then. But now he's upset, and I can understand that because, it's Indianapolis, and even though I'm not as impressed with the history of Indianapolis as far as stock cars are concerned.
We agree. I think we agree on that.
Well, but he is, he's a former open-wheel driver. He's won the Indy 500, and he may not admit it, but everybody views Indy that's in the sport really does view Indy as a big place. And if you have a chance to win, not even a chance, but a strong chance, you got to believe that it hurts to miss out.
Oh, yeah.
And I do feel kind of bad for him because, it would have been a breath of fresh air to see Juan Pablo Montoya win at Indy. What a random, pick a random track. Indianapolis, pick a random driver. Juan Pablo Montoya, there's their winner.
Yeah, and he was strong. He was strong the entire weekend. He qualified well. He was practiced, because I saw some practices. He was up there. He had a solid, like you said, Edwards and Busch were Kurt Busch were terrible all weekend. He was on the flip side. He was very strong all weekend. Mark Martin was very strong all weekend.
Yeah, Johnson was strong all weekend, which is funny because I used to be the idiot savant of making NASCAR predictions. I have been off my mark completely this year because you're like, Johnson was fastest in practice. I'm like, what difference does that make? And he goes and out wins the race.
Oh yeah, and something else I wanted to say, and we've talked about this off the air in our quote real lives, but was this not that typical Jimmy Johnson win?
Well, that's the thing too, and actually I wouldn't even say is it? I'm almost thinking to myself yesterday, was it impressive? Well, technically yes, it's impressive that they won this race. But he's done it so often, it's not really impressing me anymore. I expect them to do this.
And for those that are listening that don't know, Doug, you've said before that it's that kind of Jimmy Johnson for, let's say, 3/4 of the race, hangs around second, third, fourth.
He starts out usually run about fifth or sixth, creeps his way into third.
Maybe fourth, yeah.
Third or fourth, and before that last pit stop. And that last pit stop, something happens. He'll either get off pit road in front of somebody or something will happen. Bad luck will strike somebody. And he'll end up second on the restart, and he'll pass that guy, and he will never look back.
It's just, I'm gonna say this, and I'm sure you think this, but I gotta wonder when the luck's gonna run out, and when it runs out,
it will eventually.
You gotta think so, don't you?
I would dare say I know so. It will eventually. I think he's overdue, personally, but. Obviously it hasn't happened
yet.
Watch
what'll happen. He'll make the chase, and that's when it'll implode.
I'm okay with that. I'd take it.
I think, the thing is for me, obviously I'd love to see him win the championship, obviously, but...
Don't be greedy, Chris. Damn.
It's kind of like, I was just going to say, he's won 3 in a row, so it's not like it'll be devastating if Jeff Gordon wins it. That'd be awesome.
It would be devastating if Jeff Gordon wins it. Yeah, of course it wouldn't be devastating if Gordon wins it. I don't know. I don't dare make any predictions anymore because I don't want to curse anybody.
So
I'm gonna pick Casey Kane to win the championship because if I curse him, I'm okay with
speaking
that.
of let's talk about that for a second. He's doing that whole thing, that midsummer good streak.
But he's a lot closer. He's doing it in like July this year.
Usually
Last year
June.
he did it like late May, early June. So maybe he'll be able to limp into the chase this year.
Well, I don't think he's limping in right now. I think he's running pretty.
Well, I'm saying he's got the luck's gonna run out here soon, and he's gonna go back to form.
But he might be far enough up. You mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, let me see. He's got about. I don't know. It's not much on. 13.
No, there's Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch had a bad day, and that's another thing. I must have heard him
isn't there
too.
like 50 between 12th and 13th? There's a decent amount.
There's
now.
80 to like Kyle Busch in the 12th, but I'm talking like, but Rudiman is about. Oh, he's about. Oh wow, he's.
It did grow, didn't it?
60 behind Kenseth.
Yeah, that's the biggest it's been in a long time.
Between like Kane and 12th, it's like 50 points.
Yeah, but that's the biggest gap we've seen between 12th and 13th in a while. But what I wanted to say, we talked about this a little bit yesterday when it happened.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to say this, and then you can, agree or disagree. You probably will. Do I ultimately think Kyle Busch will make the chase? Yes, but he needs. I'm sure you would agree. He needs to stop this pretty quick, though.
Well, and the problem is that like yesterday wasn't his fault.
No,
that's the shame of it, because I mean, it's like I can look back at Chicago and say, he had his head up his rear a little bit. If he gets that sorted out, Chicagoland doesn't happen, he's okay. But Indy happened after he had his head up his rear at Chicagoland. So now it's like, well, you kind of caused it now because if you just were finished 20th at Chicago, you have a decent, you're out of the chase.
He needs to be careful.
I think he'll come back. I think the only thing that's going to stop, bad luck is the only thing that's going to stop him now, I think, really. Because, unless he stops himself. But I think now's the time to buck up. Cowboy up, go get her done. If he does that, he will.
Though the interesting thing is,
I'm worried about him imploding because he implodes when it starts to slip.
Not going his way. Yeah. Well, and the thing is the statistics are shocking to me. He's only got 6 top 10s this year. That is unbelievable to me. I didn't know it was that.
Well, he was really strong early on. And I don't know. I don't really know what to say for him anymore.
Here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. Is you've said that he can drive in over his head because he does. We both agree on that. And like he's had a few races where it's been bad luck. But the interesting thing is there have been some races this year, Doug, where he has not shown up and not had speed. So I'm not. I ultimately think he'll make it. Yes, but there have been races where he just didn't show up.
Like where?
Where was it? Is there? Does it show every single finishing position?
Yeah.
Is there one? There's a race. There was a race 4 or 5 ago where it was like 16th that he finished or 14th or something like that.
13th at Michigan.
See, he was never a threat at Michigan. I remember that.
But 13th will get him in the chase, or at least it would have if he hadn't had these bad finishes. The same thing you've been saying about Montoya too. It's the antithesis to that.
Yeah, I think he'll make it, but
13th doesn't
be
concern me, especially since I know that Michigan he hasn't been strong at in his career. Like last year during the season, he wasn't that great at Michigan, but I'm looking at think of the races he's won this year. He's won at. Well, Vegas won't come up again, but he's won at Bristol and he won at Richmond. We'll see both of those again before the chase starts. And if he wins those 2 races, that's 2 of the last 3 races, he could make the chase. And then there's Atlanta. He had 18th place finish, but
he certainly is not making it easy on himself. We'll say that.
No, he's got to overcome now, but if this team should be able to pull it together, and if they don't, change needs to be made somewhere. And I'm not saying crew member, like personnel change. Maybe he needs to say, like in the interview yesterday, I need to be a better leader. Maybe that's what the difference is. Maybe he needs to kind of take a look in the mirror like Stewart did all those years ago. Well, there's a time when Stewart was, I can't believe those guys would work for him because of the way he treated them. And now, look at him now. Maybe it's time he needs to make a change in that area. That's my thing with Kyle. But he's got too much talent. This team has too much potential. I just don't see it.
No, I unfortunately, I'll say I see him making the chase. It's just going to be interesting. He has to come from behind now. He has not had good finishes the last couple of weeks. Daytona, he got spun.
Even then, he had a decent finish. Top 15 is decent finish.
Yeah, but he's only got 6 top 10s this year, that kind of thing. I ultimately think he'll make the chase, but he's slowly gone backward, and now he's finally fallen out. I think he'll be in, though, but that was something that was interesting to me.
He has to rebound, in my opinion. And even then, Montoya had such a strong run yesterday. He lost a spot in points.
To Mark Martin, right?
Yeah, to Mark Martin, of all people, who guy who finished second, but apparently didn't have anything for Montoya when he was out in front.
Mark Martin, the last 2 weeks, has run like he has pretty much all year, except he hasn't had bad luck the last couple weeks. Knock on wood.
Yeah, no, Martin's finally getting the good luck to go with it.
Well,
I would even argue that when Montoya went out, he was in the catbird seat, and actually, if Mark Martin restarts second or on the outside on that last restart, I think he holds